and then I had the major label push, and Black and Yellow went #1. You know, I think it was the song and the Steelers winning at the same time. So I couldn't I wasn't
It's the perfect storm.
I wasn't making the Steelers win. Like they was doing it on their own. Like, you know what I'm saying? So every time they score a touchdown, fucking Black and Yellow comes on.
Yeah.
It's so sick.
I'm like, sweet. Perfect.
Yeah.
So it was just a perfect.
You
little
must have gone to
setup.
games then.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, in those days.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of the games. I was more into music and shit. So back in the day, I was just really into music. Like I was always in the studio. But after that, yeah, it's like fucking Towel Wave, Halftime, fucking Pierogi Race, all of that shit. Yeah.
That's so big.
Right.
I love it.
Do labels usually try to control when you get bigger? Like
Yeah.
Will they say one thing and do another, or is that you guys are?
I think they kind of tell you exactly. They won't say one thing and do another. They'll promise you a bunch of shit and won't deliver.
Right.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I think that's kind of the same
That's
thing.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
You seem like you kind of already knew before you got in that was like you saying don't tell me to push this. Don't tell me. You said that from the get-go.
Yeah, well, I had a record deal before. I was signed to Warner Brothers, and it was a single deal. And it was a single with an option for the album. So where it's if the single does really good, then we'll let you release an album.
Yeah.
And the single did really well, but they didn't release my album. We didn't even make an album. And I don't blame them because, there was no hint at what that shit would have sounded like, what it would have done, who the audience was, or anything like that.
But were you pushing for it?
As a kid, yeah, I was pushing for it. But that's one of those things where it's I didn't know what I was getting myself into, so it was way better that it didn't happen. So older, I'm looking at it I'm glad that happened how it did.
Right.
But being young, it was okay, fuck, what's the next move? You know, I'm ready, I want to do this, I want to do that. But I just kind of was just playing my part, really. I would go to all the sessions that they set me up for. I would stay in all the hotels that they got for me. I did all of the radio that they wanted me to do, and that's what I really learned the most is the importance of the relationships with the DJs and the marketing and all of the other departments or the people who really, really work your music. I always had great relationships with them and maintained my relationships with them from what I learned by working at Warner. So it wasn't such a negative thing. I learned a really, really good part of the music game that turned me into a strong business person.
Did you feel like you made any mistakes during that time?
Hell no.
No?
No, I did everything right. They fucked it up. Wow. They fucked it all up.
We had to have that attitude.
I can't honestly. I cannot say that.
I'm just glad that all my mistakes were made before YouTube existed. Most of them.
Nah, I'm a good kid, man. I might party and shit.
I don't mean that kind of thing. I just mean the music you were going to release or decisions you would make.
I did everything from the heart, and I was growing as an artist, and I truly really didn't find myself until I started putting myself out there, and it forced me to be awkward, a little funny, a little goofy, a little bit, all the things that people love me for. And then that's when I was oh, okay, well, I don't give a fuck now because nobody can tell me how to act or who I am. I know what people love from me. So if I do anything other than that, they're going to look at me crazy. So I gotta be me.
You're compromising your values.
And they're going to know right away.
You think sometimes when an artist starts coming up, the labels, when they start to get a hold of them, they'll start to push that they should be something else that they're not?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a thing.
The labels really just go off of what's popular.
So they're hey, you should, you know what, this is happening right now. You should start to be 100%. Like that. And if you don't have the confidence to stay true to yourself, and it's they're floating money, you're oh, okay, well then I'll write something more similar to that if you think, and then you're fucked.
It's confidence, and it's you trust these people too, because you don't want to look at somebody who's you don't want to walk in somebody's office who's got platinum records all over, some you know, some you don't know, and be this dude's a dumb piece of shit. Like, if they tell you to write a song, you'd be like, oh, maybe I should listen to them because they got all of this shit. Yeah. But, like, literally, this motherfucker don't know shit. He just has these things on his walls. He don't create none of them.
Wow.
He's just in the way when it happens. And, and the people who can actually do shit, you'll meet them and you'll know exactly who they are and you'll see them doing stuff.
Yep.
But there's a lot of motherfuckers who will give you horrible advice.
Yep.
And you'll just, listen to it just based off of respect. But I stopped respecting them motherfuckers, and that's when I really leveled up.
Yeah, they're just stuck in their cycle of the same
they
approach.
Cool, but they just like us, man. Like, they're super duper cool. I don't have nothing against them, but they're just like us. They're just trying to come up with the next fucking idea.
Yeah.
Man, I had that in radio when I did a show with him, and then I did a show by myself, and it got real big. Like one of the bigger shows on Sirius XM. They're a big corporate organization. And then I had people go, you know what you should do? And I had this confidence from skateboarding where I was like, I already know how to do shit. And I know the reason the show's big is because of me. I did this. And I would say to them, like, how's your show doing?
Right.
And they'd be like, what do you mean? I'm like, if you know what I should do with my show, where's your show? Or did you have a show that I'm not aware of that was really big at one point? No? Well, then shut the fuck up. Like, maybe I should just keep doing what I'm doing because you're talking to me. And I know why you're talking to me.
And
because everyone's listening.
And you're also listening.
Yeah. And I had a few bosses that said the same. One guy get fired, another guy would come in, and then he would say the thing that the other guy said, and I'd be like, wow, you guys are like cattle. Like, it's crazy how I'm like, you should mention the guys' names that are on the show. And I'm like, oh my God, the other guy said that. Everybody that listens knows exactly
meet the new boss,
here.
same as the old boss.
I just learned it's like certain people who are like programmed like that. Like they only know how to do what they're told or like what they think works.
I also understood it though. It was you play it safe,
job.
you keep your job.
That's their job.
And that's what they were doing.
That's what I learned. I was like, that's your job. But also still fuck you.
Yeah.
And you can't do shit to me. Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about it.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah, that was cool. Especially when you don't have like a education and stuff like that, and like be in a room with a bunch of heavy hitters, and I'm like, no, you guys are fucking stupid, and everyone else in the room is like, he is about to get fired. I'm like, I don't think so.
Nah, probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, there was a guy, there's this Spanish guy, Piolín, famous, man. Like, he was on AM radio, and he had millions of Spanish people that listened to him on free radio. And then Sirius bought him for Sirius XM. And I was like, that ain't going to work. He's like, what do you mean it's going to work? I'm like, this is paid for radio. It's a different audience. And then they gave him a crazy deal for millions of dollars. And I was jealous because I was like, wait, what? 3 million? I want that. That's bullshit. And then it didn't work. And there was this big glass room in New York City with all the fucking execs. And I was like, how's that dude doing?
Oh, wow.
And it was like, not that good, huh? I could have told you that. And I remember there were like 3 or 4 other bigger guys and like going, dude, don't say that. And I was friends with the owner. Like, he knew me. And I was like, that's a stupid idea. Yeah. And he was like, yeah. Yep. No, fuck you, you're fired or anything.
But also,
that's
to
the
follow
thing,
up, eventually he did get fired.
Yeah,
so
eventually.
I don't know if that really was helping.
They didn't fire me because they fired me because I'm great.
I know, I'm just kidding.
They just lost the money and they paid me too much. Also, I totally get it and I understood it. And I was like, yep, you guys are cool. I still like those guys, most of those guys.
Yep.
I
left on good terms. I was like, thank you. We had a good run.
I listened to you on the way home.
Yes.
That's going to take a minute.